So I've been playing Fortnite for a very long time. I started in season 2, where I still rock my Squire Knight skin, and I've played majority of the game's updates since, and I gotta give them props for keeping the game relevant. Other battle royales seem to be kind of falling by the wayside. PUBG, Apex Legends, even the juggernaut of Warzone has become less and less relevant because battle royale is just like other big game mode trends. At the end of the day, a trend, and trends come and go. And Fortnite made a smart move because they basically kind of copied how Minecraft and Gary's mod were able to stave off the lack of relevancy that the battle royales have enacted upon themselves. And that was turning the game into a platform, right? You didn't buy Gary's mod for Gary's mod, you bought it for the stuff people created. And the same thing with Minecraft. What kept it relevant was the things people made. The tools were put in the player's hands, so to speak. And Epic Games did that, giving 12-year-olds access to basically Unreal Engine 5 for free. And the stuff people have made is genuinely impressive. There's a lot of really fun and some really weird brain rot stuff on the Fortnite platform, but still, the fact that people can go in and make game modes that could have more players than Black Ops 7 is wild to me, and why the game has been staving off its slow death. Now, Epic Games is no angel here. There's a lot of issues with the company, the CEO, his attitudes towards AI, the massive layoffs, the fact that they don't think $6 billion a year in revenue is enough to keep the lights on is wild to me. But just being objective and looking at the product itself, it's not hard to see why Fortnite has lasted as long as it did. Now, in terms of how other battle royales are trying to adapt to Fortnite, everyone's just pushing for collaborations. And Fortnite was the first game, in my knowledge, at least my memory as a gamer, since late 2009 when I started playing online games. Fortnite was the first one to really take on the collaboration. I don't really remember any mainstream collabs, especially to the degree that we have with the MCU and recent movies and stuff like that. There's basically no IP that Fortnite hasn't touched yet. And you can view that as a positive or a negative thing. But at the end of the day, that's the kind of stuff that unfortunately keeps Fortnite going. We might find it cringy that they had to add in Poison Ivy and Batman in the swimsuits to get sales, but it's working and everyone's copying Marvel Rivals. Just keep on moving. That Fortnite is just literally the word adaptation. And that's one of the reasons the game keeps on going. It puts the tools in the player's hands. It doesn't restrict their creativity to the most part. It keeps its original game modes intact while consistently adding new updates. However, I'd like more things to stay a little bit static because I'm just an old head. I don't like the feeling of missing out or having content that I enjoy removed from the game. I was a fan of Destiny 2, if that makes you understand a little more about how I feel about content being taken from a game, especially if I pay for it. Fortnite gets a pass on all that because it's a free-to-play game, and I think that's probably the smartest move they could have done. Because if you remember when Fortnite first released, it was a zombie tower defense style game, and I think it was $40. I can't remember what it was when it first launched, and it was just a failure. Now, of course, later they added the Save the World mode in after, which was a cool move, but also kind of sucks for those who did pay the 40 or 60 or even 80, I think, was like the Elite Founders Edition of it. I feel bad for those who paid for that and didn't get any sort of refund. I think what they should have done in that case was just give V-Bucks of the equivalent value of whatever pack you bought. Like if you bought the $40 Founders pack, you get $40 worth of V-Bucks. I mean, they're not hurting for money. That's what I would have done if I was a CEO. But that's also probably why I'm not a gaming CEO, because I'd be too pro-consumer. The stockholders wouldn't like me. You know what I mean? I'd be like Bob in The Incredibles, where the boss is telling him to worry about his stockholders, not the average person. I'd be that guy. I would be Bob in that scenario. I'm sorry, ma'am. I know you're upset. But hey, this is how Fortnite has done it. It's impressive to me that they're still pushing it. They're still making content. It's still profitable. I don't know why they're laying off employees as much as they are. There's got to be some guys at the very top that are just absolute leeches. But still, I give them credit where credit's due. It's impressive how they were able to keep this game relevant. People still play it daily. It's making a ton of money. And I'll be honest, a lot of the gameplay mechanics, they're simple and they're fun. The game feels good to play, if that makes sense. Another comparison to Destiny, where we have issues with the overall running of the company. You know, those guys in the top echelon buying 6 sports cars when they don't need to. We got issues with them. But we can objectively say, hey, this game you made feels great to play. I want to keep playing it. You know, you can have both. The problem we have nowadays is everyone's really hyper emotional. You can't really give an objective analysis on something without like drawing a line in the sand. And I'm happy to draw some lines in the sand. I don't like how Epic runs their company. I don't like how predatory the game can be towards kids because as soon as you log in, it's just pop up after pop up. But at the end of the day, I got to give Fortnite props. It is impressive how they were able to stave off this lack of relevancy attached to the Battle Royale genre by evolving. I wish more games would follow suit. You put the tools in the community's hands, they will go running with it and make the content for you. You know, Team Fortress 2 is a great example of the community literally keeping the Frankenstein's corpse of a game going, and the game is genuinely fun. So if you can get a dedicated base, especially if they're able to create their own content and share it, then you've got the recipe for a game basically never dying unless someone up top in an executive position makes a horrible decision. But we'll have to see how it goes. For now, Fortnite is just going full steam ahead. I really don't know what can take a juggernaut like this down, but it would definitely have to be an error from the inside, not the out.